all of this looks like pretty cool stuff. And I'm definitely going to be checking out most of it. All right. I'm definitely going to be checking out most of it. Um, Here is where I need to have a heart to heart with all of you about Final Fantasy XIV. All right. And this is after numerous discussions with friends, confidants, personal feelings on the matter, and just kind of where I'm at with this game right now. No, I'm not quitting the game, but here's where we're at with 14 right now, as far as, in my opinion, is concerned. All right. You have heard me discuss kind of like how where things are with 14 after the MSQ of 7.0. And I know there are people that love it, and that is wonderful. Okay. What I am about to say is not for those that enjoyed it. It's for the other side that did not. Okay. And looking at the 7.0 MSQ and 7.1 MSQ through a second time, I'm just gonna say this. You've heard me say things before, like Wu Clement was very much overused. She absolutely was. That is a problem. They pulled back a little in 7.1, but she still felt like an overwhelming presence. Okay? So I don't know how she'll be utilized in 7.2's MSQ. We saw her pop up one time, really, in that trailer, maybe twice. So they might be getting the hint that maybe they are being too forceful with this character. And what I have to say with that is this, and this is nothing to do with the voice actress. This has everything to do with how I feel the story of Final Fantasy XIV is approaching, or is going. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. Everybody has their own feelings on the matter, and I respect that. Okay? This is not me shitting on the game. This is not me shitting on fans' opinions of the game. And this is certainly me not shitting on Yoshida or the dev team over there. But this is me being for real. I hate to say it, but thus far, this has been one of the worst MSQs I've ever seen in this game. And I mean that. I'm not saying the game is shit. I'm saying this MSQ, which is your meat on the big meat on the bone. This is the drumstick. This is that first drumstick you pull off. This is the good shit that's supposed to hook you in, right? I understand that they're having to make a fresh start. I get that. They're having to rebuild the lore. I get that. However, here is where ARR, and I know people will say ARR's MSQ was not good either. Allow me to challenge you on that. You know why ARR's still kind of stands the test of time a little bit? For two reasons. It felt like Final Fantasy, and your typical Final Fantasy style story of you being a complete unknown, unless, of course, you had a character from 1.0, and even then, you were just still kind of a complete unknown a little bit. Coming from obscure, origins and stuff like that, and very much progressing in a very Final Fantasy style, format. With their story of challenges growing, the primals, the main enemy, and the big climactic thing with Ultima Weapon and all that at the very end and all that, Very Final Fantasy. The other thing is this. The reason why ARR worked, and this is the sole reason right here, it's because you were the main character. Your Warrior of Light. Your Warrior of Light was the main character. And that's the thing that I do not agree with when it comes to Dawn Trail's MSQ. I, as a subscriber, as a player, my Warrior of Light, as far as I am concerned, I very much feel secondary. I feel like I have had to take a step back. And at first, I thought, maybe that could be an interesting perspective. Until it continued to be that. And even in 7.1, I still felt that that was there. Not necessarily just with Wuklamot, just in general. I think that is a very grievous mistake on their part when it comes to the writing of this MSQ. Again, I understand that they're having to start over with new story origins and all of that. I understand that, but we are still the warrior of light. I'm not, I'm not popping off here. I'm being for real. We are still the warrior of light. We're the main character. Every one of you that made a character in this game, you're the main character. Not Wuklamot, not Kona, not these characters we've never seen before. That's not how that works. And how do I know that that is a bad thing to rely on too heavily? Because they did it once before. They did it once before. They did it with Lise in Stormblood. Fans were not receptive to that. Now, what happened? They pulled back. They pulled back very much. Even when we were doing Doma, we were still front and center. I do not ever feel that in a video game, and this is strictly talking a video game, if you are portrayed as the main character, you know, not necessarily a predetermined character, you know, like, it's not like you're playing Dante in Devil May Cry doing his story. It's your character story, Warrior of Light, okay? If you are in that role, your times that you have to step back should be impactful but temporary. I did not feel that. And even in 7.1, I did not feel that. So my big thing for 7.2 is this. Stop doing that. We're the main character. You're the main character. Put us back up front. We should not have to be saved by the Dawn Servants or Wuklamot or whoever. We should not have to get that at this point in the Warrior of Light's journey and story. This is after not just defeating the Garlean Empire, not after just defeating the Ancients, the Ascians, all that, the weapons, the embodiment of despair. We are universe god busters, okay? We literally saved the actual universe. We should not have to be saved by a new character we've never seen just because the team wants to show that character off. And that is the impression I got from this. I was not happy with Wuklamot saving us. I was not down for that because it made us look inferior. Again, taking into account of who we are at this point. If this was during ARR or even Heavensward or even Stormblood, that's different. It even happened in Shadowbringers one time, really. And twice, you know. But, again, this was before Medion, you know. But also, it was done by characters that were already established. You know, very much established, and also characters that were beloved, okay? Of course, I'm talking about Emmett. I'm talking about Y'shtola. I'm talking about Hoshfont, you know, that stuff. But it's not like, you know, it's different. Arbert, that's different. That's very different, you know? It's different because the presentation was very much in line with what was going on. It's like the story could kind of read the room, you know? You joining forces with Arbert to combat Emmett Selk was done beautifully. That was done beautifully, and it didn't belittle us like we were nothing. you know? We didn't feel like we were secondary. We were still the focus, you know? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. So that's my hope for 7.2, everything going forward. Put Warrior of Light, please, back in the forefront, where the Warrior of Light belongs, okay? The Warrior of Light is the hero. That's where they need to stay. We can step back if it has impact and if it is temporary. I'm sorry, but that's just how it goes. That's one of the main reasons people love 14. They like being the hero, not second fiddle. You know, that's just good business. Personally, I don't really care for the raid series. I mean, it looked neat, but I'm not really down for the story of it. I figured Cosmic Exploration was going to be the Firmament replacement. Part of me was like, Disciples of Hand and Land, really? That's what it's for? But then I'm like, nah, that makes sense. This is not a combat mission. This is exploration. So I'm okay with that being the Disciple of Hand and Land thing. And I think that's going to be really great. And I think it's going to be very good content for people to do in the middle of the break period, which I'm going to bring up in just a second. Now, here's what I have to say about the Occult Crescent. As far as the content they're going to be doing in the Occult Crescent is concerned, I love all of that. Here's my problem. Why that date? Why that date? Why? I want to know why. And I don't want to hear, because of raid balancing. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Tell me why. Why? Why? That's almost a year it's almost a year. That will be, when this drops, that'll be almost a year since Dawn Trail dropped. Like, why? Why push it back this far? The only reason I can say like is a cop-out. Well, just go ahead and say it. I'm not going to say you're making a cop-out. I want to know why. Because it's going to go back to my original point I made ago when I'm talking about the Relic. They're drip-feeding shit. I don't think they're well, maybe drip-feeding a little bit. And again, I'm not saying any of this from a place of anger. I'm saying this as a fan. They don't want the Relic to now cost Savage their tier weapons. I don't know. This should have came out 7.1 at the latest 7.1. Remember, guys, this is not coming from a place of anger. I can sense anger coming out of the chat right now. This is not coming from anger. This is me giving some critique, okay? And just telling you where I'm at with things right now. We, the community, are feral as hell right now for real content, and they don't want people to burn out right away. The best word of reason I can think of is, even if it's not a cop-out reason, it's still a bad one. You're right. You're right. There are people that will burn through the content. And I'm going to be completely for real with you guys. I'm going to be completely for real with you. You know who the players are that burn through content the fastest? You know who they are? I'll tell you exactly who the player base is that burns through new content. You know who it is? It's people that have time to do that. I'm talking big clout chasers? No, not clout chasers at all. No. Remember, I am not insulting, and this is not coming from anger. So dial it back a little bit, chat. I'm not angry. I'm observant. Dial it back a little, chat. We are not flinging insults. We are not throwing shade, and I am not tossing firebombs at the Capra Demon over his fog wall door. Okay? I am making statements of observation. Okay? So dial it back. The people that will burn through this are the people that have time to burn through this. That is not majority of this player base, okay? No, I don't think they would burn through it in 4 months, but I will say this. I do not think the 4-month waiting period between patches anymore is a viable enough reason. Because if they're really needing 4 months to do all this, then there's a very easy solution to that. They need to hire more people. And I saw that they were doing that. I saw where they were hiring staff at the end of all the picture showcases, which is good. They do, because they are a small dev team as far as dev team numbers are concerned. And what they have been able to pull off within their game with that size is impressive. However, and I know people will have said before, and even I've said, it's okay to take a break sometimes. Well, here's my thing. Not when you're a subscription-based game. And when there are penalties attached to whether your sub stays active or not. And I'm specifically in that regard talking about housing, which I will get in further detail in a minute. Because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there is a punishment in 14 for ending your sub. There is a punishment. There is. And it's a very, very nasty punishment too. I do not agree with this at all. This is very consumer unfriendly. It is. I do not like how they tie your sub to your house. That's bullshit. I'm sorry, it is. But I will get further into my discussions about the housing in just a minute. Okay? I don't think majority of people will burn through this as quickly as we think they will. But someone who wanted this on immediate patch day, staggering content to make the patch last longer and to make it so people have stuff to do over the course of the 3 months, started doing this because when they release patches, it would clog servers, people rushing to get all the stuff done, forcing them we're trying to do when content's being run. That's what I can figure at least. And that's a great point. But this goes back to my original problem with the Relic system. When Occult Crescent should have released? You want to know when Occult Crescent should have released? 4 months ago. 4 months ago. 5 months ago. 6 months ago. Hell. Start the Relic as soon as 0.0 MSQ is over. Didn't have to be something major, but start it. The fact that it takes now almost a year for the Relic to drop, in my opinion, is a very archaic and out-of-date kind of thing. I do. And I know people will say and have said that it conflicts with the rating. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. That may be true. That may be true. But you know what I say to that? Rating is for the minority. The majority of your players need mid-tier, are either mid-tier or casuals. They are. They are. Your hardcore raiders are the 1%. Why are you catering to the 1% of your player base? WoW had this problem for a very long time. They fixed it in War Within. They fixed it with their delve system. They fixed it. Now you don't have to be in the 1% to get the good shit. You don't. You have another way. The fact that there is a severe lack of mid-tier, mid-casual, mid-hardcore, whatever that middle-tier stuff, that there is a severe lack of that missing in Final Fantasy XIV after all these years is very telling. It wouldn't interfere with the Savage Raiders anyways. We're still going to farm that shit to get everything. Exactly. It wouldn't harm the rating progression. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. And even then, like I said, you know, and Demon Kai, you're one of the hardcore raiders that I know of. You know this. Hardcore Savage Raiders are very much the minority of this game. It's just like Mythic Raiders in World of Warcraft. They're very much the minority. Very much. They're very much the minority. This feels like, once again, with them having to put this on a date that will not conflict with the progression of Savage rating, that they are catering, once again, to the 1% of this game's player base. And that needs to stop. It needs to stop. I understand people love to do the hardcore rating, Savage and all that. That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. I used to do it myself, and then I got burned out. That's wonderful. And they should be able to enjoy what they want to do. I fully support that. But not everything should revolve around that. And that is something in this game I feel is still present. That so much of this game revolves around Savage rating and when it comes out. And my question to that is why? 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 Because at that point, it has become formulaic. Too formulaic. 5 years ago, this was fine. 4 years ago, this was fine. The moment that 6.0 ended, it wasn't fine anymore. It's odd, it didn't used to be that way. I wonder what happened. All right, content creators. And you're right. Content creators did have a big impact on this. Content creators and the big dog raiders. And this is not shit talking. This is truth. This is real. They did have an impact on it. They did. They absolutely did. What did they say? What did they say? They didn't want things to conflict with the rating progression. They didn't want anything to conflict with it because it's their precious raid. Okay, I can respect that. But the raid is not all that's in this game, and not anymore anyway. The raid and there needs to be more non-raid stuff, and I think some of this stuff is a step in the right direction. But here's my thing about that: Occult Crescent, space exploration. We've seen this before. Firmament, Boja, Eureka. Will people complain about them when they drop? Sure, because the Final Fantasy XIV community unfortunately loves to complain about everything because nothing is ever good enough. And quite frankly, that's just a sentiment shared amongst many gamers, many gaming communities all around the world, except for maybe the Dark Souls community. Maybe us. Dark Souls community might be one of the most wholesome ones out there. That's right, I said it. That's right. Stay safe, my friends. Don't you dare go hollow. But they need to take better care and better observance that not everything has to be based around what the 1% is doing and what they want. Because this game feels like it very much does that. That's not cool. It should not mimic what we have to deal with in real life. Okay? It just shouldn't. And I do feel the game has suffered for that. Thank you for the follow, bro. But that is my major problem with Final Fantasy XIV right now. And my major problem is this. It's everything I've stated already. And it is my statement of it does not feel like there's anything to do. It doesn't. I know people will say, run older content. And I'm not saying play Final Fantasy XIV every day. Abso-freaking-lutely not. No. And I do love that Yoshida does say, go play other games. He's absolutely right. Then don't tie the ownership of my in-game house to my subscription. This is where I start drawing comparisons between the current state of WoW to Final Fantasy XIV's current state and what's coming in World of Warcraft Midnight. And the first thing I'm going to say is the housing system. The fact that one of the first things the WoW devs said about the housing in Midnight, the fact that you would not lose your house even if your sub was ended, because it was your characters, only your characters, and it was instanced. The fact that they said that immediately put their housing system bars ahead of 14's. The fact that you will have cosmetics for your house shared between your characters, that's a W. That's a W. The fact that, like I said, if I just end my sub with WoW or something like that, I don't lose that. But with 14, you do. And that's not right. That's not fair. That is not fair. I have not played 14 for almost 2 or so months now, but I am still paying my sub because I don't want my FC to lose their house, and I don't want to lose my personal house. I know they've had the demolition turned off, but that raises another problem I have. What is taking so long to turn the demolition back on? What is taking so long? And if it is back on, forget everything I just said about why is it taking so long to put it back on. We have been trying to get a large for the longest time now. I don't even remember the last time a large was on the market because the demolition's turned off. Yeah. Or do something about people owning entire wards because that is ridiculous. I understand that they took advantage of a system that was put in place with how they used to do it with first come, first serve. But listen to me. Listen to me very well and listen to me very closely. Come here. That's fucking bullshit and you know it is. That's fucking bullshit and you know it is. An FC should not own an entire ward. That is ridiculous. Even after they change the system. That is bullshit and you know it is. This isn't sour grapes talking here. I'm just saying it's absolute bullshit that there are FCs that own entire wards that are utilized to funnel gil and money through there just for the sake of that. That is bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. And you know it is. Everyone in these chats, everyone in my chats, YouTube and Twitch, that's bullshit and you know it is. Okay? Stop tying your house to anything that can make money or mats. I completely agree. Stop that. A house should be just a fun extra cosmetic. That's it. That's it. That was the problem with the garrison in BFA. When you tied everything to that and literally had to do nothing else, what was the point? What was the point? You can make all the money you wanted in your garrison. You never had to leave your garrison ever. Ever. You want to make money in 14? You never really have to leave your FC house. They should be for social places, role play, or just something cosmetic for you to earn things to just decorate it for fun, not for gain. Not for gain. That is bullshit. Suspension notice is back on 1.9 and there's been no resuming notice yet. That is fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The housing system in 14 is fundamentally broken. And if the WoW dev team pulls off what they say they're going to do, it's going to put their housing system to shame. The fact that you're guaranteed one, no matter what, it's your characters. You can resize furniture. You have actual X, Y, and Z axis. They'll even let you clip stuff through the walls. They don't care. They're just like, have fun with it. Who cares? Who cares? The fact that cosmetics will be shared. You'll be able to run old content to be able to get stuff for your house and make it look exactly how you want it to. You'll be able to dye the furniture and all that. The fact that you'll be able to do that is just wonderful. So What do I think they should do to fix it? Demolition really only ever gets turned off due to world crisis issues. They turned it off for one crisis. We're about to turn it back on, and then California caught fire, so they kept it off. I mean, I get that. I understand that. I get that, and I sympathize. I really do. And you know, I'm sure I sound like kind of an asshole now. But if they're not going to do that, if they're not going to turn demolition back on because of world crisis, which I understand, then put some more goddamn wards in the game. Put some more wards in then. Yes. Or just make auto ward generating. Yes. If we won't tear down what's there because of a world crisis, then auto generate another one. Okay? Then auto generate another one. Exactly. And like I said, you really want to know my personal opinion about how you can really fix the housing problem in 14? Here's how, and it's going to be controversial as hell. Tear it down. Burn it. Burn it. Burn it. Wards, burn it. Or turn it into FC only. Ward FC only. Or, like I said, burn it. Tear down the whole thing. Reintroduce it as instance housing. Take that island that we all forgot about, that most of us only went there to get the damn bike and then never went back, and turn that into an instance house. Hell, it's big enough for an individual house and an FC manor. Do that. Do that. We own it. Why not? It's in its separate instance. People can come visit. So what's the problem? Turn that into it. Turn that into it. Because I guarantee you, as far as that island exploration or whatever, you know what's going to happen with that? Nothing. It's going to be left in the dirt. It's going to be left in the dust. We will never go back. If they do something else with the Isle of Exploration, it will shock me if they do anything else with that. Because most of us, like me, we went there, got our motorcycle, left. We were done. So turn that into the new housing. Turn that into the new housing. We don't need neighborhoods anymore. Well, here's how you could do it. Here's how you could do neighborhoods. Here's how you could do neighborhoods if you want to retain that. Have neighborhoods be FC house manors only. You want to do it that way, that's fine. Or just turn them, or redo all of the wards into the same size houses. Same sizes. 1 per FC. 1. You get 1. You get 1. Or just do away with the whole damn thing. Take the L and do away with all of it. Will people get mad? Probably. But you know why they also won't get mad? You know who will get mad? The people that will get mad about this are people that own entire wards. Start it with the size of an apartment, let it upgrade until you get to the size of a large interior. Get rid of the gardening, have the items come from somewhere else. Yes, no more item generation. Now, like I said, the people that will get mad about this are the people that make all their money from their FC house. Those are the people that will get mad. They're the ones that will get mad. Well, that's one of the things that the housing is going to be doing in WoW Midnight. It will be purely for cosmetic. That's my main problem with that. That is my main problem with this right here. The fact that this content right here should have started sooner. And they should have just spread it out more. Because if you're needing 4 months and you're only drip feeding it like this, just because for the sake of the Savage Raid progression, then I don't think those are very good reasons. I do not. I do not think those are very good reasons at all. I do not. I think it's catering to the 1%, and I think it's very much ignoring majority of your player base, especially the roleplay community, who are the ones that are still keeping your game alive when there's nothing to do. Do not ever ignore your roleplay community in your MMORPG. They are your sustaining lifeblood. They are. Because when there's nothing to do, role players will make their own. And from them, you will still get their sub. Because they will crave that social interaction. Yeah. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies. That's really where I'm at with 14 right now. KB has never told a lie. Well, I can't confirm that. But I've been very disappointed with the direction that 14 has taken up until now. This looks very promising. It does. But this has been very disappointing that they are still sticking to their guns to be still so formulaic. So many people are saying it's the same thing over and over and over and over. And even I am getting a little tired of same old thing with a new coat of paint. Even I'm getting a little tired of that, you know? We should ask important questions that Rages never ask one day. And that's why we start here. And that Raptor is why we start here. They need, in my opinion, to stop following their same formula with how they release content and how they do it. Like, I understand that they've tried to dip their toes into some newer style content, like with variant dungeons and stuff like that. So why has that paused? Why weren't there 2 more? Or hell, you don't even have to try very hard with the variant dungeons. You know what you do? You do something you haven't done since ARR. You do hard mode versions of the dungeons that are already there. We had these in the Burning Crusade. It was called heroic mode dungeons. And people loved them. Were they hard? Yeah. Was it worth it? You goddamn right it was. Because people complain about the ass, but everything new they try? Well, of course, but that's gamers in general, especially nowadays. Except the Dark Souls community. The easiest way to expand the variant dungeon is this. Take the dungeons that are in your game already, tune them up, add some extra mobs, add some new mechanics to each of the bosses, crank their HP up a little more, and have your rewards be raid level stuff. Not normal raid. No. Savage. Give players another way to get Savage level gear. They do this in World of Warcraft with Mythic Plus, raiding, and delves. And crafting the gear. 4 ways. In 14, you have 1 way. You have 1 way. Well, I'm sorry. You have 2. Running the same damn roulettes every day until you cap, which they need to raise that tombstone cap. That's ridiculous that it's still the same one over and over again. Or do the raid, and then you can't do it again until next week. 2 ways versus 4. I do admit you missed the hard mode dungeons from ARR. I know you do. I know you do. In crafting. But see, that's the thing. The crafted gear only gets you ready for Savage. I'm talking hard mode dungeon gives you Savage gear. I'm telling you, it gives it. Yes, I know that is a bold thing to say, but you know what it does? You open the door. You open the door for more people to maybe want to try the Savage raids. You are widening your berth of the number of people that can try something. And I know some people might say, well, not everything should be for everybody. Well, here's my thing. How do you know that until you give these people a proper shot? How do you know that? And I understand the point of doing like the regular raids is to kind of give you a taste of what you're going to see in the Savage variation, and that's fine. I think they should still maintain that. You want to get the Savage, you want to unlock Savage, do the normal raid. That's fine. Don't have that be my only method, though. Don't have that be my only method. You want to reach the next level tier of Savage, beat the first, or next wing of the Savage, beat that one. It's fine. But if you can give more people an opportunity to get in there via another means that they still have to work for, then you are opening the opportunity and opening the door to make that content matter more. Give the proper rewards. Have the hard mode dungeon gear look different from the Savage gear. Have it look different. Because 14 players love their glamour, right? They love their glamour, right? Look at WoW with the Vault KB. They ditched PvP reward track and replaced it with the world content and delves. They sure did. And you know what? Bravo, I say. Bravo, I say. That's right. The Vault in WoW does not do PvP anymore. It's delves and world quests. Raids, and dungeon, heroic and mythic plus PvE content, and you still get your vault rewards. 14 would profit if they had a system similar to that. Here's another thing they could steal from WoW: the trading post, the trader's post. The trader's post. Do that. It gives people a reason to play your game. Earn exclusive tomestones that you can turn in to get glamour that is not available anywhere else. Or mounts that maybe not available anywhere else, or rare mounts that we haven't seen in a very long time. Because I'm sorry, I don't believe in, oh, this content or these things are never coming back. I don't believe in that. I think that's stupid. And I cannot wait for the day that the Spectral Tiger is on the trading post. I cannot wait for that day. And I cannot wait to see the 1% of players that will seethe and cry over this. Because I do not believe that there should be content that never comes back or is gone forever. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. But if you do something similar to that in 14, you give people a reason to play your game outside of, well, time to log in and do my roulettes again. That's old. That's old. That's old. We're tired of this. We're tired of the same old shit. Spice it up. Change it up. Fuck the formula. Do something different. Switch your gears up. Hell, the next WoW expansion is going to be out this year. Metzen said, no, we're not doing this 2-year shit anymore. It's 1 per year. Bold. But you know what? It's working. The current WoW patch with the Undermine has brought players back. It's amazing. It is fantastic. It is so good. And if there's any WoW player out there that hasn't been back in a while, I encourage you, come check this out. The Undermine is amazing. It's a goblin city, underground, new, that looks like Las Vegas. You get a car. There's all kinds of shit to do down there, and it is so alt-friendly with how they do the war bands in WoW now, with their characters getting EXP boosts, so you can get them to the newer stuff faster, because I don't believe that you should have to do the same MSQ over and over and over. That's another reason why 14 is not alt-friendly. You make an alt, do MSQ again. No! Why? I've seen this already. I've done this. Absolutely not. And again, old archaic design. Old archaic design. When you make an alt now in WoW, you put them in your warband, they get an EXP boost, and then you choose how to level that character. You can either do Cataclysm, you can either do Burning Crusade, Mist of Pandaria, Wrath of the Lich King, Legion. You choose. You can stop it at any point. And the moment you reach the level of the current content, Chromie contacts you, zips you out of there, and here you go into the new ones. Mwah. It's beautiful. UB14 not being alt-friendly will allow me to do everything on one character, though. Necronuru, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely. It is not alt-friendly in that regard, and being able to do everything on one character is great until you make an alt. And everybody does at one point or another. Or I will say majority of people will do that at one point or another. They will. Maybe they want to play with a friend. Well, guess what that means? Here's what making an alt in 14 means. MSQ again. Nothing carries over from your previous character. Except maybe a few things that you bought in the shop, but guess what? Any emotes you earned, any emotes you bought off the shop, majority of the cosmetics you unlock in the shop, majority of that stuff, none of that is shared through account. Which, hear me out and listen very closely to this, is another thing I am going to say is fucking bullshit. Is fucking bullshit. Bind on account is a thing that is sorely lacking in 14. Sorely lacking. Emotes, mounts, glamour, all of that should be account-wide. I'm sorry. That's old school design. It's not even old school design. It's archaic. It's out of touch. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. You know who does all those things I just listed? World of Warcraft. They do. Their transmog system is superior to Glamour. Simply because they use a catalog system that is now shared between all your characters. You can even unlock Glamour for other characters and other classes that you may not be playing or be able to equip. You unlock that for them. Mounts are shared between all characters. All of that is account-wide. Emotes and mounts at the very least. Emotes and mounts at the very least should be account-wide. Why the hell should I have to buy an emote or a glamour item or a mount? Because not every mount does this. Some do, some don't. Why should I have to buy those from the store again? That is archaic. That is old design that needs to be updated. Like, now. Which brings me to my final point. This has to do with the fact, well, if it's taking so long, why do you need to get hiring more people? It is extremely predatory. It is predatory. It's very predatory. This brings me to my final point. The day of today of this recording is March 16th, 2025. Happy 316 Day. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Give me a hell yeah. Why can't Viera and Hrothgar wear hats? Why can't they wear majority of the hats? What is the excuse? What is the excuse? What's the excuse? You've had since Shadowbringers 5.0. You've had since 5.0 to do this. What is the goddamn holdup? It's been 5 years. What's the holdup? There's no excuse anymore. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. There's zero excuse when you said it's going to take a while. 5 years? Here's why I know there's no excuse. Priority? Listen to me. Yeah, priority. Yeah, listen to me. Mods, independent mods have already made it work. They've already made it work. It doesn't have to look perfect. It's okay if it just clips through. It's okay. It's okay. Because I understand there's a lot of gear and things they have to take into consideration with the character models and skeletons and stuff like that. I understand that. So if your manpower is the problem, then you need to hire some modders. You need to outsource. There's plenty of people that would love the work. You need to outsource. Because this is ridiculous. And here's why it is ridiculous. Not just the fact that it has taken this long. And I am not excusing the dev team or Yoshi P for this. I'm not. I'm done excusing it. It's been 5 years. And the fact that modders have already done it is very telling. They've been given players have been given false hope with regards to, are they ever going to do it? And the fact that you dare still take the time to make glamour items and put them in your cash shop while still refusing to let Viera and Hrothgar wear these items. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. How many glamour items have come out in the last 5 years that say, and I quote, Viera and Hrothgar cannot wear the headpiece? How many? I've lost count. I've lost count. I've lost count. That is, above all of that, that is inexcusable at this point. And if it is, like I said, if it's a manpower thing, if it's a manpower problem, then you need to start outsourcing. And if you, or you know, hire new folks. And if you can't hire new folks, then you need to outsource. Yeah. If I buy a Fantasia and change to a Viera, I'm actually losing out on the value of the Fantasia. You absolutely are. You absolutely are. Exactly. That is not consumer friendly. It's not. So here's my deal. Get on it. Knock it out of the... Just go ahead and knock it. Tweak it later if you need to. It's fine. Or outsource and get some more help. Because the fact that they still can't with majority of your items in your game and even stuff you release on your cash shop is not an excuse anymore. It's not an excuse anymore. It's not. It is not an excuse anymore. Stop doing this to your player base. That's not cool. That's not cool. It's not. Shadowbringers came out. They should have made all armors from Shadowbringers today. Should have allowed Hrothgar to wear hats and work backwards for older stuff. You're absolutely right. All stuff, that's Shadow Ninja actually brings up a great point. When they released them in Shadowbringers, every piece of gear that released in Shadowbringers should have been able to wear. Going forward, they should have been able to wear it. And then just work backwards from there. The fact that they didn't do that was, in my opinion, a grievous misstep. And it's probably made it even harder for them to do that, to do now. Because they didn't do it from the get-go. That is a grievous misstep. They can ensure that two races can wear the chest piece, leggings, hands, and footwear. They have no excuse, including their own hats. I know. The fact that they said they were going to do it and still haven't done it. And that's the biggest problem with what Eric just said in the chat. I'm sorry, with what Kool-Aid just said in the chat. That's the biggest problem. They said they were going to. It's been 5 years. What's the holdup? I'd rather them just come out and say it's not going to happen. Like, stop bullshitting us at this point. Or the really funny thing will happen, and after I've said all this, they'll announce it when the patch drops. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Oh, my God. Yeah, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. Yeah. Yeah. Folks, it feels like they're focusing too much on merch and collabs. Maybe not collabs, but I definitely think merch for sure. I do feel like there is a general lack of focus on the things that players have actually been asking for. I do feel that. And I think a lot of it comes back to this. I think a lot of it does come back to this. I think a lot of it comes back to that I think Final Fantasy XIV and their dev team have gotten too comfortable. I do feel like they've gotten too comfortable. They were riding a wave of success. The Shadowbringers and Endwalker. Oh, they were. They were riding that hard. You know, one of the major reasons why they were riding... Well, there were two reasons why they were riding it so hard. Shadowbringers and Endwalker was good. Some folks were divided on the post 6.0 stuff, which is fine. But also, you want to know another major reason why Shadowbringers and Endwalker popped off so hard? And this is just me being real. Not just because the games were good, but because World of Warcraft was sucking. It's because the biggest other competitor out there was sucking. And in one of the worst states that it had ever been in. Shadowlands was not good. The latter part of BFA was not good. Weak. Because milk happened. It's because WoW was not good. So, what happened? Content creators started talking more noise about 14, and it attracted a lot of people over. A lot of big dog content creators. Made a lot of noise about Final Fantasy. And guess what? It worked. It worked. It worked. Now, I don't want to hear people say, oh, WoW players came over to 14 and ruined the community or anything like that. Because let me tell you right now, majority of Final Fantasy 14 players were or still are World of Warcraft players. Because you have to accept the fact, guys. WoW has been around for 20 years. Final Fantasy 14 has not. You have to accept the fact that a big chunk of these players were WoW players or possibly still are. So when people have been saying like, oh, the WoW community players came over here and ruined our game. The WoW players were already there. You want to know why maybe your community started getting a little loud? It's not because the WoW community came over there. It's just because more people came over there. Because they were also advertising the shit out of 14. They were advertising the shit out of it. They advertised the shit out of Shadowbringers. They advertised the shit out of Endwalker. Okay? Good night, Raptor. Love you, Donna. Mwah. But yeah. Yeah. Stop the archaic design. Stop bullshitting us with some of this stuff like Viera and Hrothgar being able to wear headgear. Stop bullshitting us and be upfront. Are you gonna do it or not? Because it's time to start putting a date on this. Stop bullshitting us. Get out of your archaic ways. Stop basing everything around the rotation and the progression of the Savage raids. And for God's sakes, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone, 14. Get out of your comfort zone. Spice it up. Throw the formula away. Because you have to adapt and evolve, which is why I said this on my Twitter page. You do not, at this point in time, do not deserve to be nominated for an award that has anything to do with you evolving, because you have not evolved in about 3 or 4 years. But you need to. Because I love your game very much, and I want it and World of Warcraft to thrive.